Welcome to the eSailing Eric Twiname Junior Championship finals. We've had 203 sailors from 6 classes taking part in qualifiers on Friday and Saturday. It's in the Optimists, the Toppers, the Fevers, the Terrors, Laser 4.7s and the Techno Windsurfers. And the top 2 from each class has made it through to this final. And it is actually quite good that we haven't had any racing at Rutland, because Rutland, here we have this picture of Rutland Sailing Club on Friday where it was a complete mill pond. So there wouldn't have been any racing. So seeing a nice 19 knots off the Portsmouth coast and beautiful sunshine once again, a few clouds today, it's a bit of an advantage. I've got Luke Patience, who is the Olympic silver medalist from London 2012, joining me today for the commentary. So Luke, how is it to be watching these such enthusiastic kids taking part in this virtual racing?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've enjoyed my time watching these races, and it sounds like it's been a very grueling path to even get on the start line here. So I think we've got the best of the best, and I'm looking at a lovely sunny Portsmouth and excited to not have my ego invested in the result.
And Luke, you actually won round 2 of the Lockdown Cup. Have you got any advice for the sailors before they take part in this final?
Well, I mean, I hear we've got a pretty mixed bag of venues and boats to sail for this competition. So the only tip I would have is that you can easily lose it from the start. You can't win it from the start, but you can lose it. So just getting clean, steady and being in the race, and the rest normally takes care of itself from there.
Okay, let's have a look at the skippers. We've got a little introduction that gives you a bit of background on them all.
First up, we have Dara Jenkins representing the Terror class and the North region. After the qualifying races today, his tooth fell out after eating a bacon butty. Next up, we have Freddie McLaverty representing the Fever class and Wales, and he likes to fall out of his fever a lot apparently. Next up, we have Tommy Millard representing the Techno class from the South. And Tommy can apparently do a double bottle flip whilst jumping on a pogo stick with no hands. Next up we have Rose Hallam, our only girl through to the final. She is representing the Fever class from the Southwest, and apparently when she first started sailing Fevers she got stuck on the bowsprit of a working boat. Next up is Max Steele representing the Laser 4.7 class and London and South East. Apparently in Max's last Terror event, his dog Chase joined him in the boat. Next up is Mark Jenkins Jorma representing the Terror class from the South. On Thursday, he had to have his head glued in A&E after falling out of a tree practicing trapezing. Next we have Ruben Hudson representing the Toppers and London and South East. Apparently Ruben's last haircut was courtesy of his brother and some dog clippers. Next we have Oliver Bull representing the Topper class, and he is from Scotland. He is known as the boat breaker at his club after breaking 3 club dinghies. Here we have Oscar Schilling representing the Laser 4.7 class. He is from the north, and during lockdown he's run 70 miles, which is the equivalent of running from Newcastle to York. Next up is Ollie Cooper representing the Technos. He's from the north. Ollie likes to sing when he's windsurfing, and apparently he looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Next up is Platon Kodekin representing the Optimist and the South Zone. His first sailing experience was in an ice yacht in Sweden, whizzing around at 40 miles an hour. And finally we have Thomas Peace representing the Optimist class and the South Zone. He is a keen Warsash Sailing Club member.
So here we are, and we've got the beautiful Portsmouth background, all of the fleet ready for the start. Johnny, do you want to start the sequence?
Yeah, here we go. Good luck, guys.
Okay, with a minute to go, what are your thoughts looking at the course here, Luke?
Well, I'm looking at wind, and I've been watching it before the start, and you know, I don't want to put thoughts in anyone's head, but I've seen quite a lot of good pressure on the right, and it seems to be consistent over the last few minutes. So I like the look of the right at the minute, but as we know, it's Portsmouth, it's offshore, and things can change up the course. So that may very well be wrong by halfway up the beat.
You will also see Johnny McBoatface on the start line here. Johnny is actually just the person running the racing, so will not be taking part. Just so that you know when he's not on the course. Just 24 seconds to go. Quite a few boats there just lining up very close to the line with the sails flogging. It looks like it's going to be a close one. Really packed there at the committee boat end. Just 8 seconds to go. Really pushing the line. It's going to be a tight start.
Here we go.
And they're off.
There's a lot of boats at that right-hand side of the line as well. Obviously, there's a few eyes looking at being perhaps on that right-hand side, finding that more breeze, but it's really tightly packed.
A superb committee boat start by Tommy Millard, the CEO of Funny there. Where did that boat name come from? Tommy? Okay, we haven't got Tommy with us just at the moment.
No.
So
he's obviously concentrating hard on being funny.
I'm not surprised. This is such a tight fleet. We've only got really a few meters separating the top four, though, so I can really understand them all trying to concentrate on this at the moment.
Yeah. Now you can see Ollie there has dug hard into the right-hand side of the course, and I'm looking at our little wind toggles. We've got a very hard right-hand shift as well, so we'll see what it looks like when he tacks, but I'm expecting him to maybe have an easy race for the next 50% of this beat.
This is really tight up at the top, just 6 meters separating the top four.
Wow.
And here,
you see now, it's beats like this that get exciting. We've got a huge spread in the fleet from left to right. You know, and all that says for us as commentators, Mark, is we get to watch the madness unfold to the windward mark. But if you're the max right boat or the max left boat, there's probably a fair amount of nerves right now creeping in, because anything can happen when you're that exposed.
And you quite often went right all the way to the left-hand side and came in on that port ley line. What are the dangers as you're coming in there? And we see a huge pack just coming in on that port ley line at the moment.
Yeah, there's a massive cluster. Well, the good and bad thing about the ley lines is you're very exposed. So that often means you can get your boat speed up and you're very free. But also it means your options are minimal. So if someone comes and tacks on you, you have no option of what you can do. You've already made your bed and used up all your distance on the other tack. So it's high risk, but it's high reward as well.
And it's showing at the moment that Ruben 481177, and that is Ruben Hudson, is actually in the lead. And he's taken a more conservative approach, just going to be soon tacking across onto the starboard ley line here.
Yeah. And also, you know, I saw some big shifts in that first beat, which just tells me it's a pretty unstable wind. So that's smart sailing from Ruben. I like, although I've just seen he's got a penalty.
Yes,
I like
but
that
Max Steele
sailing.
now coming in on port. He's just squeezed in at the windward mark there to take the lead. Oh, but a penalty.
A penalty. That's the risk. I like the bravery though. The bravery is good to see. Hopefully we'll see a lot of that in this race.
Quite a few penalties on that windward mark, and this is something we are very familiar with in the Lockdown Cup as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but the penalties have been vast, haven't they? And by no means seems to have been taken away from this race as well. These guys have fought hard to be here, and here they are pushing it to the very limit.
And the CEO of Funny is actually in the lead. Can we get the CEO of Funny actually on the line now? Tommy Millard, are you available?
Hello.
Now, Tommy, your tactics up that beat, and now you're heading completely to the right-hand side of the course. What are your thoughts there?
Saw a bit more pressure out on the right-hand side, so I went down here.
And you've developed yourself a now 46-meter lead. This is a lot in virtual sailing, so you must be quite content with how you've played this run so far.
Yeah, very.
And Luke, one of the things we saw in the Lockdown Cup was the wind shadows. How much do they come into play as you're going downwind?
Oh, they're just massive downwind. You know, they've done the game well, you know, and they've put the wind shadows in good places. So, you know, the great thing about this game is it's never over. And I have to say, when you're in first and you round that windward mark, although it's a great feeling, what you know is you've got a blanket of wind behind you that's trying to stop you and slow you down at every moment. So, you know, you got to jive really carefully and be smart about where you want to go downwind. And it's hard to defend. It is hard to defend. So if you can round the leeward marks first, having rounded the windward mark first, you've played a really good run.
And the fleet now going back upwind, and we've still got Tommy Millard in the lead. 16-metre lead. Max Steele seemed to be making some inroads here. Max, how are things going so far in this race?
They're going well. I mean, I caught up after that penalty, I guess, but I'm trying to catch up back to first.
It looked like on that windward mark you were just going to sneak in, but was it the mark itself that you hit?
Yeah, I believe it's the mark and the actual guy behind me.
Oh, both. Okay. And sometimes it seems in the virtual racing that a little collision can actually be almost paying off if you're coming in on that port ley line. Are you ever worried that this virtual racing is going to give you some bad habits when you get back out on the water?
Slightly. As a matter of fact, I've been tacking a lot underneath the ley line, and that's also a habit I have in real life. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Okay. And your last race in the Terrors, you had your dog on board.
Yeah, that's right.
How was your dog as a crew?
He was aggressive, I guess. He liked to bark at people. He liked to tighten my out haul a lot. So I have a handle coming down from the boom, and he always used to like tighten that for me. So it's like crew. It was very useful.
Why would he bite it? Would he bite the handle and pull it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's fabulous. I really like that.
And impressively, it looks like during this chat, you've actually taken the lead.
Uh-huh.
So,
oh, it doesn't say so in my one, but never mind.
Well, you've got a lovely left shift in at the moment, and you can see the whole fleet is on port right now, which, you know, it's really dragged the angles of the ley lines round. So anyone who got into that left side is now, they are rich. They are very rich in space and speed right now. So I feel sorry for the people caught on the wrong side of that, which I have many a time in this game.
Now, Wing Commander Ollie just rounded the windward mark second, and that is Oliver Bull. How are things going in your racing so far?
Not too bad. I didn't have the best start. I had decided that I wanted to cross onto the right-hand side, having started at the port end of the line, so I had to cross duck most of the fleet, but it seems to have paid off now.
And you're known in the fleet as a bit of a boat breaker.
Yeah. Yes.
What has happened? Why have you been breaking boats?
Well, I had a training week at my local club, and it started off on a relatively calm day. I managed to break the webbing strap on my topper's mast. So I had to borrow some club boats, and both the Terrors I borrowed broke.
And you're a Scottish sailor. Luke will be very, very pleased to hear that.
Yeah, we like to have the Scots populate these things. There's not many of us up there, so I'm impressed and proud to see a fellow Scotsman in this race. And hopefully you don't break your boat today, hey?
Hopefully not.
Well, currently in third place, so doing well and keeping the Scottish tradition of great sailing going there. And
now we've got a tight finish coming up here, Mark. I wonder if Max is going to be able to take a final jibe into the finish here and make a passing move. It doesn't look like it from my angle. I don't know about you.
This is going to be really, really tight. Oh, just the CEO of Funny has just won the race, Tommy Millard. And you could see Max Steele making use of those wind shadows. We're just going to go a bit further down the fleet. We've had the top 5 finish now. We're just on board with Splash 2, which is Thomas Peace just coming into the finish line. And it is amazing just how tight this racing is.
It is, isn't it?
Just holding off. Oh, yeah, just finished there.
a very changeable race. That was first to finally last place was a really tight on time, and the places were changing every leg, which makes it incredibly hard to feel safe, I imagine, on the course. So well done to the winner.
And so the winner, CEO of Funny, that was Tommy Millard. Second place, 21 Max Steel 6648. That is Max Steel. And in third place, Wing Commander Ollie. And that is Oliver Bull. And then Platten K6283. That's Platten in fourth place. So a great race. Let's just go quickly to the analysis of that. And we can see overall the lead was mainly taken by Tommy Millard. It started first, a really good start right at the committee boat end. Dropped down to third place just down that run for a bit, but regained it on the second beat and held it all the way to the finish. So some really great racing there. Now, the format of our racing today, as we get set for race 2, we are going to be racing. The first race was in J70s. The second race is going to be in 49ers. And the third race is going to be in NACRA 17s. There's no discards in this series. So it's going to be all or nothing. You've got to get all of your races, all of them to count. So Luke, what were your thoughts just looking at that race?
Well, I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is how shifty it was. And I remember watching the course before the start. You can actually see the patches of pressure, and then the wee windsocks that kind of predict what the wind's going to do next were all over the place. So I just felt nervous for everyone looking at it, because it's one of those race courses you never feel safe. But crucially as well, that just means it's hugely opportunistic. It's never, ever, ever over till the end, and there's many meters to be able to gain right up to the finish line. So it makes for great watching. It makes for some nervous safety control, I'm sure, for the sailors, but it's exciting for us to watch and talk about.
Well, we are pushing it up a notch now. I've just gone into race 2. Luke, I don't know if you've managed to find that yet.
In race 2, I had some Sawyer was a bit silent on race 1. It suddenly gave me a boat on the course as soon as the race started. So that's something we've seen before. Yeah, so I was unable to actually see, hence my silence a lot of the time. I couldn't see what was going on because I was desperately trying to... I didn't realise it had given me a boat, and I don't know why.
And Johnny, have we got all of the racers now out on the course?
Yeah, they've done a quick boat switch and they're back on the race course in their 49ers.
Got to admit, the speed that everybody's managed to change from their J70s to the 49ers, and it must be some amazing parents on hand just to enable this switch.
Yeah. And squeezing into 2 trapeze harnesses as well. It's not a mean feat either.
Well, it's excellent going. So, Johnny, let's go into the sequence.
All right, here we go.
Hopefully I won't be given a boat for this race and remain in my helicopter view.
The Virtual Regatta software, while it's excellent, does have a few little glitches. So I'm still impressed that they managed to have this racing and such realism. So yeah, the odd little glitch it's just something we've got to put up with. And while we can't do our real racing, it is nice to be able to do this kind of virtual racing in the meantime. Just 40 seconds to go to the start now. Now with the 49ers, we've got quite a bit of pace. So is everything just going to have to be, they're going to be thinking on their feet even more there, Luke?
Yeah, I think so. I find when I race the 49er, I feel it's more frantic. The race is more frantic. And I think we'll see that in the tactics. I think we're going to see more tacks, Mark. I think we might even see a few more collisions, or virtual collisions, might I say, which is always exciting for us. Again, we're just coming up to 10 seconds here. And again, we've got the fleet bunched up at the starboard end. I'm seeing more wind right. Maybe they are too. Okay. Oh, we have one boat over the line. Ruben, he's had to go back, sadly, but another really tight cluster. Everyone on starboard at the starboard end. That is not a lot of room on the racecourse there.
And we saw a lot of exclamation marks beside people's boats there. A lot of penalties just given out.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Flashing. So that's already just opened up a few lanes on the racecourse, and I can see a wonderful start from Max Steele. He's wonderfully extended. He's got loads of ocean around him. So I'll be interested to see if that pays off for him further upwind.
It is fascinating watching this, and you can see the speed of these 49ers. And
yeah, you really can, yeah.
Really, really pacey racing. So let's go on board with Max Steele. And we can see just at the moment taking a conservative course up the middle of the track there, Max.
Yeah, just playing the shifts, basically.
And already, just while we've been on board, you've moved from 6th to 4th place. Now, we've only got one girl in the fleet, that is Rocket R. How do we encourage more people to take part, more girls to take part in this virtual sailing? Rose?
Hi, sorry, I was just concentrating.
I can understand that. There's a lot going on. So how do we get more girls taking part in the virtual sailing?
Just show them how fun it is, really. Give them opportunities, I guess.
And one thing I've been tempted to do is hold a ladies-only regatta. Would this be something you would be willing to take part in?
Yes, that would be great.
Fantastic news. That's definitely one of the things I'm going to have to get organised going forward. Johnny,
Sounds
you're
like
in on
it.
organising it too, thank you.
No
And
Well,
here we're
we've
coming
got
into the
Max
windward
Steele.
mark. And Rose,
Yeah.
you're a little bit below the ley line. How are you going to get round this mark?
I'm tacking off.
Okay, pair of tacks. You just managed to get that safely done there. Well done. I was expecting to see that red exclamation mark, but you got away with it. Well done.
Thank you.
It's really tight, isn't it, Mark? From sort of third to the tail end of the fleet right now. We've got a huge amount of boats rounding that wind mark at the same time. I hope they've got their eyes open, because I can certainly see some different patches of pressure around the course. So there's lots of opportunity here. And again, these boats cast a big wind shadow downwind, so it's going to make it quite tough to make the right call.
And an extraordinary lead here for Max Steele. 150 metres already. Max, how did you make those gains? I know you were playing the shifts up the beat, but 150 metres is a huge lead.
Yeah, I just went for a good start, basically. Felt bad for messing someone up, but it wasn't intentional, I guess. I just had a good start, I guess.
And there you are already round the leeward marks and heading upwind as the rest of the fleet goes downwind.
Max, you sound very calm and controlled right now in your voice as well. Do you feel calm?
To be fair, yeah. I try to not stress myself out. It's just a mentality.
Oh, good. No, I'm impressed.
Now, Luke, when you're out on the race course in those pressure races, for example, London 2012, the medal race, how do you keep yourself calm?
Good question, Mark. Practice, I think. I think everyone is able to feel pressure, and if they don't, they're probably lying. It's just more about how you deal with it. So we would do lots of things to practice it, and and you hope by the time you get to an Olympic Games, it's a sensation that is normal in your life. It's trying to normalize it all the time. So I think playing games like this probably helps. It gets the old heartbeat going, and you can kind of think about things that calm it down and just stick to what you're doing, which is usually the answer. Do what you're doing at that moment, and usually you forget the pressure.
And one of the things you mentioned during the Lockdown Cup was your heart rate went right up during the racing. And do you think it is actually giving you that practice for those pressure situations?
Honestly, I'm not just saying this because we're on the game and trying to plug it, but yes, I think that the more we can be involved in any decision-making process that you care about, because I care about winning or losing the game, it's gonna get a few of those feelings going and those emotions, and I think that's what the game's been great for during lockdown. So I'm all for it, and I feel like it's had a benefit.
And we're on board with Terra 915. That's Dara Jenkins. And Dara, are you on the line there?
You're
on the line, yes?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Excellent. Now, I understand during the qualifying, you were eating a bacon butty and your tooth fell out during a race.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite funny.
Now, how on earth did you keep things under control when you've got a tooth coming out, a bacon butty in your mouth, and trying to control a race and get through to the finals?
Yeah, it was quite hard, so just stuck to it.
Well, good on you. That's one of those situations where if you can keep that concentration going with all of that going on around you, it's going to stand you in good stead for your racing. I see you put the kite up going towards the hitch mark. Clearly it's good. Oh, yep, nice little gain through that as well. And
yeah,
up to
that's
8th
impressive,
place.
isn't it, Mark? While speaking, Dara's managed to gain a place through all that.
But clearly can handle a pressure situation. So we've got a real Dara Jenkins. How long have you been sailing?
Only for a year now.
Wow, and you can handle all of this already. This is fantastic stuff. So really impressive to see you out in the racing. And
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, a calm head on your shoulders, even if it has got one less tooth.
Well, we're going to have an impressive win from Max Steele here, Mark. He's just coming up to that line now.
Just finished
miles
there.
and miles ahead.
That
which doesn't often happen.
A seriously good race there by Max Steele. Wing Commander Ollie just coming into the finish there now in second place.
Another solid race, yeah. Now we've still got a big cluster of boats coming down from about 5th to the tail end, so there might be still a few place changes yet.
Really impressive racing again. The 49ers tend to be a bit more spread out than we see in the J70s, but it is fast and furious racing. There we're on board with Bobby.
Yeah.
3465, just coming into the finish line there. So let's take a look at the stats there. And there is confirmed the win for Max Steele. When you look at it, he led from start to finish. An incredible race there. So I'm guessing overall that's going to put you into the lead. So have we got any of the results after 2 races?
Just give me a minute, Mark. I'm just trying to plug it in.
Worries.
There was a bit of a cluster there, as you say, at the end.
But overall, some superb racing there.
Yeah, so, that was really good. And Max just commanded that left-hand shift off about halfway up that first beat. So he did a great job of keeping it very tight and very calm. And as we even heard from him, he sounded like he was just having a relaxed cup of tea.
All right, we've got the results now, Mark.
Okay, if you could go through the results after 2 races, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so down in 12th place with 22 points, we've got Ollie 13. In 11th with 21 points, Rocket R. 10th with 20 points, Bobby 3465. Also with 20 points is Splash 2 in 9th. In 8th is Terra 915 with 17 points. 7th is Ruben 48177 with 12 points. 6th, Platon K6283 with 11 points. 5th, Mark 2616 on 10 points. 4th, Chills to Pay the Bills with 9 points. And 3rd is CEO of Funny on 6 points. 2nd, Wing Commander Ollie on 5 points. And in the lead at the minute is 21 Max Steele on 3 points. So still all to play for.
Brilliant stuff. So we're setting up for race 3. This time we're going to be the final races in NACRA 17s. Again, no need to slip on and off the trapeze harnesses. You can just switch across to the boats, which the parents have nicely got all sorted in their ribs. So very happy to see all of that. We're switching off to gameplay now. Johnny, all the boats are just joining in on the race, some taking a little longer. No doubt just the switch over of boats can take a little bit of time.
Me included. I'm just firing up my helicopter.
Well done. I know it's very nice, Luke, that you came down from Scotland all the way to Portsmouth. We can see the Spinnaker Tower in the background. And just for you to take your helicopter down for the day, very kind of you to come and do this.
My pleasure. Well, I took my private jet first, and then I fired up the chopper once I was down there.
Okay, well, you know, each to their own. I would have just got straight in the chopper from word go, but I know you've got one in Scotland, one in Portsmouth, so yeah.
Yeah, 470 sailing has been very good to me, so
yeah,
I'd recommend the boat to anyone.
And Johnny, do we have everyone on the course yet?
We are just waiting on one more sailor. They've just dropped off, so we'll just hang on for a moment.
Okay, well, we will just enjoy this view of the Portsmouth shoreline with the fleet set up there. You can see the Spinnaker Tower. And then
sorry, I got kicked off.
That's okay, Rose. We'll hang on for you.
We'll hang on for you, Rose. It's no problem at all. You can see there, beautiful view round from Portsmouth all the way round to the Isle of Wight behind us for the racing and the forts. Just taking a nice circular view there.
Beautiful.
Okay, we're back online. We're all competitors are in.
Okay, Johnny, can you go into the sequence for the final race of the eSailing Eric Twiname Championship final? 203 races, whittled down to the last 12, 6 classes. The Optimist, Toppers, Fevers, Terrors, Laser 4.7s and the Techno Windsurfers. It all comes down to this. We've got in the lead Max Steele, who has shown to be incredibly calm on the race course. Second place, we've got Wing Commander Ollie, that's Oliver Bull from Scotland, who I know Luke will no doubt be cheering for. And third place...
Oh, no, I'm objective.
Of course. Tommy Millard in third place with just 44 seconds to go. The CEO of Funny in third place.
Well, Mark, we're in a slightly different direction, as my eyes put it. We've got this wind further around to the left than we have for the last 2 races. So we'll see if the computer algorithm takes that into account and changes the conditions we have and what's been working. I'm sure it will be equally as shifty as it has been. We're still offshore here.
And we've got quite a few boats coming really early to this start line. Just 13 seconds to go. Will some of the boats who come in later at full power, will they have the advantage?
Well, these boats are slow to accelerate, but fast when we get there. So we've got a few coming out now. We've got, I think, we've got our first clean start there.
No, a couple had to go back.
No, we don't, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was wishful thinking to have a clean start.
Commentators curse. I'm sorry for those who had to go back there. That will be my fault.
And there we're just on port tack. The CEO of Funny, who's third overall, Tommy Millard. Why did you choose to go across straight to the right-hand side of the course there?
I went over the line a bit early, so I had to get in some clear air. So I've gone all the way out over here.
And if we go across to Max Steele, going the other way, just tacking across now. And that, it would seem, just tacking behind a few boats. 4th place at the moment, a little bit of places to gain back. But you're using those shifts up the beat. And now in first place, Rocket R, we have our Lady of the Fleet, Rose Hallam. Things going well there, Rose?
Yeah, it's going really well.
Okay, I'm not going to distract you too much there, but just before the race, you had being kicked out of the race, but luckily things came back in, and it looks like very glad that you are back in the racing. 14-metre lead at the moment, and a nice clear line. Good little lift coming into the windward mark.
Yeah, I don't know, my Wi-Fi kicked out, and then I was in a panic.
Okay, I'm going to leave you to your racing now because you've got the windward mark coming on. And the last thing you need is this distraction. Luke, what are your thoughts coming into this?
Well, it's really great to see Rose up there at that front there after that start. But I'm seeing a load of pressure on the starboard ley line, Mark. And I'm actually
their wing commander Ollie actually just coming in and rounding first.
Yeah, exactly. They kept hammering on that starboard ley line with a load of breeze. So it was a last-minute gain. And that's what happens in these faster boats. You just need a little bit more wind and they'll almost double their speed.
And
so
hitting 24 knots. Hitting 24 knots going into that windward mark and round the hitch mark. Some serious pace on board with Wing Commander Ollie. That's Oliver Bull from Scotland.
Yeah, good man. Flying the flag, Chief. Get that down there and get haggis in you at the end of this race. But I really like the boats that have jibed out onto port, Mark. There's a lot more breeze out right. So we'll see if that early jibe pays. Obviously, you've got to come back through a lull to get the lured mark, so we'll soon see the fruits of that.
And with that shift, it is quite clear these racers have also seen it, the vast majority jibing onto port and then going down to that ley line. So clearly spotting that shift, majority of these expert sailors.
Yes, exactly. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because we can see Max Steele, who's currently, I think, rounded lured marks there in 4th or 5th, with Wing Commander Ollie with a bit of a commanding lead. So I know there's a bit of a tight race between these two on points. There's plenty of race left. Let's see if Max can work his way back up and give Ollie a bit of a run for his money.
And so, Oliver Bull, how is this race going? Do you like the NACRA 17 as a class?
I've not really raced them that much. I mean, I had a pretty terrible start. I was over, but I managed to get some decent shifts going back up the right side of the course. So
it does go to show, even when you're over at the start, you can actually come back in the fleet. And this is something that's, I think, really important, is that never give up attitude. And do you find that in your real racing? Just, you've got good tenacity?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It's quite funny how some of your habits in real sailing, though, come over into the virtual world.
There is no doubt. You can see how sailors sail on the real racetrack comes across to the virtual racetrack, and I think you've summed that up really nicely. This is going to be really tight at this windward mark here, Luke.
Really tight. Yeah, it's really tight. It's really tight. So it's been a very interesting beat there. I think Oliver did a great job getting out that left. If I'm perfectly honest, I didn't want to say at the time, I thought it was high risk manoeuvre going that far left. There was a lot of wind right, but he's proved me wrong. He's made it work, and here he is still in the hunt to win the race.
And in the lead, we've got the CEO of Funny, who's 3rd place overall going into this race, Tommy Millard. Tommy, how are things going?
They're going better from the start, over the line at the start, and now I'm back up into 1st.
So that's interesting. Both 1st and 2nd place in this race were actually over the line at the start. So clearly made some great comebacks there, Luke.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Often when you're behind, you get a much broader picture of what's working, because you've got the boats in front of you to tell you who's going fast, who's going slow, who's lifted, who's headed. So every now and then it just pays to get that bigger picture, and it's clearly worked today for these two.
And the mid-fleet, again, very, very tight. And we're just looking downwind, and I'm on board with Splash 2. That's Thomas Peace. How are things going in this race and this regatta?
They're going okay.
And have you been enjoying this virtual version of the Eric Twiname Championship?
Yes.
And compared to your normal racing in the Optimists, you're a keen Warsash sailor. So how have you been missing your club sailing?
Yeah. A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, it's one of those things we are all just raring to go back out on the water. And I know we've got Boris Johnson making announcements tonight, and fingers crossed we can actually at least get some recreational sailing in, but we will have to see. So now the 3rd race is now finished. The CEO of Funny won the final race, Tommy Millard, followed by Wing Commander Ollie. That is Oliver Bull in 2nd place, and then 3rd place is Max Steele, who was the overall leader going into this race. So it's going to be very interesting to see the overall results when we get them. So now, anything on the overall results?
Just plugging the final ones in at the minute, Mark.
They're just working that out at the moment.
It's going to be tight. I mean, who is the PRO here? May I ask what a tiebreaker situation is? Is it the last race, or is it a standard, the Racing Rules of Sailing tiebreaker?
Johnny, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm just the race officer. PRO Sarah is telling me that it is first number of seconds that'll split it, and if it's still tied, then it'll be who was the winner of the last race.
Yeah, so we've got the final results now, and there's a clear winner, but we've got a tie for 2nd and 3rd.
Wow.
Ooh.
Tight stuff. Okay, so let's go for, let's see, third and second place. Who are they, and what are their scores?
So in second and third, we've got as a tie between CEO of Funny and Wing Commander Ollie, both on 7 points. But the CEO of Funny wins the tiebreak with a win from race 1 and race 3.
Wow. So really tight stuff, that. And in first place, I don't think it'll be any surprises, but can you tell us who's won?
Yeah, in first place, we've got 21 Max Steele with 6 points, a 2-1-3 scoreline.
Now,
really
Max,
nice.
Max, can we have a few words from you on that win?
Well, I just basically tried to catch up at the very last minute and ended up, it was between me and Rocket R, I think, on the finish line, and I just managed to pip her, I think, because I jibed off to the finish. So I think I just got ahead in that last one. I don't think I deserved it or anything. I think it was just pure luck, really.
Oh, I don't know about that, Max. I think everyone needs a bit of luck to win, and you've clearly managed to capture that. So a win is a win. How did you feel halfway through the race? Because I saw at one point you were quite far down the pack. How were you feeling in that moment?
I was a little stressed, not gonna lie. I was a bit stressed, but once I started catching up, I sort of calmed myself down.
Nice.
Now, Max, I couldn't help hearing a dog in the background. Is that the dog who joined you for the race in the Terror?
Correct. That's my dog, Chase.
So assisting you in the race there, is that the barks, any kind of tactics for you there?
I don't know. It's a secret. We'll never know.
Okay. Now, Luke, what's it been like to watch our young sailors perform so well on the virtual racetrack?
It's really great. And like we said at the start, these were the cream of the cream from the 200 and odd sailors of the last couple of days, 2-3 days. So it's really impressive to have them all fight out together. And the great thing about this game is we've got Oppies racing Terras, racing 4.7s, racing Fevers, Technos, the works. So that's the great thing about this game, is that we're bringing together different classes, and I feel we should do this more in the real world. Find boats that everyone can sail and get mixed in together. So it was great to watch, and I was pleased to be part of it.
Heartily agree. Many thanks indeed to all of the sailors who entered the eSailing Eric Twiname Championship. Fantastic to see so many people, when they're unable to get out onto the water, still so keen on sailing. And so really happy to see that. We're just finishing with this mill pond picture of Rutland Sailing Club, which, while we can't get on the water, it's a little bit of a solace that we can still have the event take part. And there probably wouldn't have been any racing at Rutland on the Friday with that no-wind situation. So great that the event took part. Many thanks to Johnny McGovern for organising all of this, and Sarah for, well, doing the race officer duties and organising the whole event and doing that skipper intro. Some fantastic sailing. So everybody, let's hope that we can all get out on the water soon. And many thanks indeed for watching.